I bet you're the type of person who would someone in the not give them the goddamn decency to give them a reach around. Metal Jacket, released in 1987 and is directed by Stanley Kubrick, who's also behind such films like Paths of Glory, Spartacus, Dr. Strangelove, 2001: A Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, and The Shining. And this film is starring Matthew Modine, Adam Baldwin, Vincent D'Onofrio, Lee Ermey, Dorian Harewood, Arliss Howard, Kevin Major Howard, and Ed O'Ross. And the reason why we're talking about Full Metal Jacket today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a big-time contributor, long-time contributor, and supporter of this channel, Dr. Camp. Thank you very much for this recommendation. This is part of one of your last bundles that you sent my way, and gosh, when you put a film title like this, Full Metal Jacket, directed by the great Stanley Kubrick, I mean, yeah, I'm going to have an amazing time. This is a film that I've watched several times before. Well, I mean, I guess I've watched the first half several times. The second half, we'll get into it, but thank you very much, Dr. Camp, for sending this over. If anyone else also wants to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out, just like what I did with Dr. Camp here. Full Metal Jacket is the tale of two different movies, the first half being an indoctrination into the Marine Corps recruit training process at Parris Island. Drill instructor Hartman is terrible to all these cadets and is hell-bent on a mission to change these people into full-blown Marine killers. And the second half follows one of those cadets by the codename Joker, who becomes a war correspondent during the Vietnam War and is sent out into the trenches to cover several different stories and gets involved in several shootouts along the way. I'm proud of myself. That's a very difficult plot summary to say for this film, because it really is the tale of two different movies here. The first half is all at this army base, and it's all of these people training to become Marines. And the drill instructor, played by R. Lee Ermey, is one of the best performances, I think, in the history of film. He actually used to be a drill instructor, so when Kubrick is giving him all this direction and asking for him to, do drill instructor things, he's like, oh yeah, I got this in the bag. I can absolutely do it. I can riff a lot of these lines if you want me to. Which he did, and it makes this first half of the film the best part, absolutely, by far. I could watch this first half over and over and over again, not just for his performance, but also to see the metamorphosis from these people who really have no idea what they're getting themselves into full-blown killers and full-blown army men at the end of their instruction. Even characters like Private Pyle, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, one of his early roles, and just proves that Vincent D'Onofrio is one of the greatest actors of our time, by the way. Seeing him go from someone who can't think for himself and really just has no idea what he is doing, he is slacking, he is falling behind, he's making terrible decisions that are having repercussions on his entire squad, and after they torture him and beat him up because they don't want him to keep fucking up, because then they have to do all the running and all the push-ups and all the dirty work, that's when a switch changes in him, and all of a sudden he just fails on being a person, fails on being a man, and he becomes this soulless, angry machine. And we get the hardcore Kubrick stare from him, just the head tilting down but looking up, so you just see like barely the color of my eyes looking at you. But God, I look very creepy, don't I? I love the message behind the first half of this film. It's an assimilation of identity and assimilation of individuality into this unit that works as a machine. And I get why you want to do that. You don't want to have people who are thinking for themselves or thinking against your commanding officer who's giving you an order to go over there or do that thing, even though if you think for yourself and go, I could be shot if I go over there, they don't want that from you. They want a soldier to take orders and just do it because the commanding officer said to do it. This is why I could never be a Marine or in any branch of the military or in any branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. I just couldn't do it. But I enjoy, and it's also heartbreaking to see that assimilation from individuality into having no individuality at all, having no identity to yourself. You are just a Marine soldier. The second half, though, and I know that this film gets criticized for it because it's almost a completely different film, and it has to be addressed because it bothers me too. All of a sudden, Private Joker, who becomes a sergeant, he is a war correspondent, and gosh, all of the hard lessons that the drill instructor from the first half instilled in him kind of goes by the wayside. And Joker thinks he's being funny because he's a Marine, but yet he has a peace symbol on his uniform, and then his helmet also says "Born to Kill." Well, it's the duality of man, guys. I get that, and that's really what this second half is trying to instill in you, the audience. There's a duality in human beings. We can be gentle, we can be kind, we can be peaceful, we can get along with each other, but there is also this other side of ourselves, is that drive to just tear each other apart, and we all have that. Humans have had that since the dawn of time. You just go back into human history and you just see wars and battles and violence and genocides happening all around the world, not just in one country, but everywhere. I get the message. I absolutely do. But the way they go about it is just so lackluster to me. The film climaxes with a shootout from a sniper in a dilapidated building, and this troop, who really gets lost and shouldn't be there, they're just scoping out this city, and one of their brothers gets shot, gets hurt, and then another one, and then they have to take out this sniper. And then they do, and they carry along their way, and it's Joker's first kill. I know he said that he always wanted to be the first one on his block to murder someone during the war, and then he did, and he looked a little heartbroken over it, but then went along his day. So it showcases the duality of man, and also shows the acceptance of other people with that knowledge. Like, yeah, you just straight up murdered this sniper who's just a civilian woman. All right, on to the next task. Let's go. It's sick. It's absolutely disgusting, and that's what war really is. War is a disgusting thing. It's people fighting over, if you think about it, some pretty stupid shit. Doesn't make for the second half entertaining, though. Yes, there are shootouts, and yes, we have a bunch of new characters that we didn't spend the first 50 to 55 minutes getting to know in the first half. We have a brand new cast of characters other than like one or two. So I don't understand the decision of this split and of these two different movies and two different stories combined into this one film. But if you just had me watch the first half and watch the training sequences, I could watch that all day. I absolutely love that part. It's the second half that just drags the movie down for me. I'm gonna give Full Metal Jacket 3.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I am above average.
So guys, if you've seen Full Metal Jacket, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell so you'll know the next time I'm released next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.